Round of applause. List. And yes, we are talking about the role of media for development.
Between the elders and the young people.
We spoke about the disconnect within generations.
So over the past media says, and
Isn't it? So what are we doing on social media?
Welcome to Youth Action Lab Social Justice Academy. My name is Pamela Ephraim.
My name is James Okewu, and we are not alone. We are with the cohort of Media for Development. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right. There are many theories about the media and the stories that we consume in Nigeria. The intellectuals will argue that most of the media that come out of Nigeria are insufficient to prepare us for the future. There is lack of proper documentation of our history, which is a stumbling block, and some even think an intentional sabotage on our development and future. While the everyday Nigerian is still struggling to grasp if Mungo Park actually discovered River Niger, or if Mary Slessor actually stopped the killing of twins, we are opening a new conversation today in a room full of young leaders, community builders, movement artists, entrepreneurs, journalists, and yes, we are talking about the role of media for development in Nigeria. We have some questions. Pamela.
So over the past 2 days, we've been discussing about media in its various forms and the role of media in development, especially in activating the SDGs, the 17 SDGs. So what exactly is media for development, and how is it different from other forms of media?
Because I'm sure our minds are already traveling. There are already other forms of media, entertainment,
I'd love to answer the question.
Okay, please.
I'm Victor Emedem. And, media for development, as opposed to the mainstream media, is a form of, or is the use or strategic use of media platforms like the radio, TV, social media, you have Facebook, TikTok, and so on and so forth, for development, awareness, education, and so on and so forth. Just basically creating positives for the society, as opposed to the mainstream media, which is just for the purpose of entertainment, for news, for broadcasting, subscriptions, and the rest of it. Media for development aims at making the society a more sustainable place to be in, while the mainstream media just looks for profiteering or subscriptions.
Interesting.
So as much as media is doing so much for development, or the development is using media so much to advance its causes, what are some dire areas in which media can be used to promote social change, especially areas that are often overlooked?
Especially areas that are often overlooked. Especially...
What are some dire areas? Let me take the question again. What are some dire areas in which media can be used to promote social change in development, especially areas that are often overlooked?
Okay, hi everyone. So I think I would like to start with the fact that even using media for development, we sometimes tend to actually forget the rural areas, and we can actually take this media in the form that they can actually be able to consume this thing. And then also, to answer your question, I think we tend to overlook the intergenerational dialogue between the elders and the young people, and how we can actually bridge that gap. So actually, and I think that's something that the media should also add on to actually bridge the gap between that and a development too.
Yeah, I really like what she just said. Do you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what
Okay.
she said. I believe also one key area that the media can have influence is also the issue of inclusion. I believe that the media is a very good opportunity to bring together people, especially when it comes to gender and disability inclusion. There is a lot of overlooking when it comes to people with disability and other inequalities. So I believe media is a very good tool that can actually bridge that gap and allow those people to be seen more, to amplify their voices, and to ensure that they are being heard.
All right.
Okay, so my name is Promise Easy, I believe that it's not enough to amplify problems. We can also spotlight initiatives that are making a difference in rural communities that are not heard of. And this is where the concept of solutions journalism comes in, where we talk about people making a difference, we spotlight what they do so that people can copy this initiative and implement them in their various communities. So it's not just about problems, but also highlighting and spotlighting solutions.
Interesting. He talked about spotlighting solutions, and she just talked about amplifying the stories of people who are, disabled and inclusion. And she spoke about something very interesting. Because we are talking about media, I'd like to just share more light on that. She spoke about the disconnects within generations. Some of our older people, because of the rise of media, still may not be able to properly access some of the information. So even while media is being celebrated, especially now that it lives in our phone, it's kind of hard for some generations to be able to navigate accessing information and all of that. I guess that's why my dad is still stuck on some WhatsApp broadcasts. I don't know if you guys have parents who send you WhatsApp broadcasts.
We can relate.
And who can relate? Let me see your hand if you can relate. And they don't know how to fact check. They don't know that this is fake. They say the sun is going to turn black by 2 p.m. Please switch off your phone and all of that. But there's a lot of reorientation and education that needs to be done to bridge that gap. So thank you so much for sharing. And thank you so much for sharing. I just want to speak on, do we underestimate or overestimate the media? Do we underestimate the media? Do we think, the media does not have so much power in Nigeria? Or do we think, it has so much power, yet in reality, it doesn't really have so much power? So what role does media play in shaping our everyday opinions? The opinions we have of things, of politics, of public figures, and even down to policies. What role does media play in shaping policies and decisions that are made on a national level? What do we think?
I mean, anyone can share practical examples of how the media has played a role in shaping public opinion.
Or even your personal
influencing
opinion,
policy.
if you have a story.
Okay, so for example, what advocates have discussed earlier on today about Lagos, talking about Lagos, that Lagos is smelling. So I feel that when I think it was this Geraye or somebody like that, I don't know, maybe that's a correct name, that spoke about during that time she spoke out. She spoke up rather. She mentioned that the whole of Lagos was smelling and everything, and that caught the attention of the Lagos state government. And now, in fact, today I still watched, Mr. Tokunbo Wahab. Like this evening, or let me say today, they locked up about, maybe it's in Agege or I don't know. He locked it up today. And they've been doing a whole lot of like arresting people that drop waste on the road or anything. Whether they don't want to care who you are. Once they find you dumping waste anywhere that is wrong, they are going to arrest you. And that came from that viral post of Rai. So I feel like media, it is not underestimated at some points, because once they see that, this thing has gone viral, and you see everyone saying Lagos is smelling. So it now boils down to say, when so person was a governor, was Lagos smelling? You understand? So now they are trying to, bring back this Saturday clean up stuff to ensure that, okay, this Lagos that is smelling, let us tackle it. So I feel that the media is not underestimated. In fact, I feel right now they are afraid of the media.
Ooh.
All right, okay, they are afraid of the media. I remember 2023. Yeah, I was in the National Assembly that day. We came to the National Assembly, everywhere was dry. At around 10 o'clock, heavy rain started. And just for us to come outside to the balcony, water everywhere. And I was there, me and my friends, National Assembly, water, how many? Only for us to go to Facebook that moment. I saw, National Assembly is filled up with water everywhere. I was like, how far? It's not this National Assembly that we are. But then the next day, when we came, there was still heavy rainfall, but nothing was on the floor. That was the power of social media. And then it became so effective because it happens at the law house, where bills are being passed. And at that time, before then, there was actually a budget for, for the National Assembly. But yes.
Oh wow, personal story, and I just think it speaks to the future of media for development in Nigeria. What do you think, Pamela?
Exactly, I agree. But then there's certain SDGs that I feel are affected by cultural biases. Or yesterday, I remember in our group 4, we're discussing about that, and we're talking about how it's so difficult to campaign for certain sustainable development goals because of the culture. People believe this and that. So how does bias and cultural diversity and misinformation influence or distort SDG messaging?
All right. So I really like that question because I feel like you can't speak about media in Nigeria without speaking about misinformation. At this point, there are a lot of people who are tired of Facebook because they feel like the security system or something about the platform just allows for fake news to just go without being checked. And I think if we are going to use the same platforms to pass across our information, it's going to be there are some challenges that we would face in terms of misinformation or just cultural biases. Who is speaking? Somebody from the radio can even say, "Oh, that guy has a thief voice, so I don't listen to thief people." Or that guy has a evil voice, I may not listen. So there are little things, nuances that play out when people receive information. And we want to talk about how those things pose as a challenge for media for development. If you have any stories or experience on that, your share. Okay, let's move to the next.
Okay, for misinformation, right?
Stand up, please.
So for misinformation, right? So I think we should be focused on how to differentiate a good information, or a real information, and a false information. Like, you and I, we can carry our phone now. It's going to be the same news, but different content. Do you understand? In fact, the headline can be the same. But when you go deep to read, you understand that the information I'm getting is different from the information you are getting. If you follow Punch News or BBC, sometimes they will have to start sending screenshots of, oh, this is fake news, this is not from us, and all of that. And probably lots of people are consuming it. So what I'm trying to say now is, I think we should focus now, since media is everywhere, information, I think now there should be more focus on how to differentiate good information or real information, authentic information from fake information. And also, they should also focus on parents. Like, even they might want to read newspaper, but the eyes is already weak to read these things. And that's why they use their gadgets. So I think media organizations should also focus on parents, like, how to differentiate fake news from.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree so much. And I also think that we shouldn't look at our cultural biases as reasons for us to or like as stumbling blocks. We should look at them as opportunities to tell our story. For example, I do like digital marketing for a lot of content design and writing for Street Project Foundation. And Street Project Foundation creates safe spaces for young people in different states in Nigeria. When we go to, let's say, for example, Abeokuta, for example, what I do is I go to research about the people of Abeokuta. I learn their language. I adopt their language into my copy. When I write this content or the flyer or the call for application, I am not looking at it as a challenge. I am looking at the fact that we are different as an opportunity to share your story, but not also to say, oh, because there's cultural difference or bias, then, that's like a stumbling block. No, we would develop if we look at these things as opportunity to share stories. So quick, we are going into the part where it's going to feel like a debate soon between traditional and social media. Which has been the most effective in activating the SDGs? Okay, passing the mic.
Okay, so personally, my own thought is going to be that both of them are actually doing exceptionally well. However, social media has been used like more in activating the SDGs, because you see people do videos, short clips, and all of those. Even most of all these United Nations videos and all, they are on Instagram, TikTok. They are across, like, different social media platforms. So it is even less of of traditional media. However, traditional media also has its own strength, because when you want to, let's say, implement a policy, and you want to go through the media, it is very much important that you also use traditional media like news to effect policies, to even reach some other audience. Like now you want to reach, let me say, the president of Nigeria, and you have something you want to reach him. It is much easier for you to write it in the news, let them put it in Punch, page 1. By the time they bring the news to the president in the morning, he's going to see page 1 Punch news. So traditional media and social media, both of them have their own strengths, and they also play a huge role. But the one with the most impact is combining both, and that's how you can get much results. So that's it from.
We all agree that social media has been the most effective. We should use both. Okay, sorry, what did you say?
I said it all depends on your target.
Please,
it all depends on your target audience.
Elaborate, please.
So like he said if you're trying to reach the president, you don't expect him to be on Facebook in the morning going through reels or stuff like that. So you should post it on the newspaper front page, and definitely you get the attention of the president. Depends on the caliber of the person you're trying to reach out to. So that will determine the media or the media you decide to use. So pay attention to who you want to reach out to. Pay attention to your audience, then you get to reach them.
So this is such an important take. So that would mean that policymakers respond to traditional media. So what are we doing on social media? Want to change policies, what are we doing on social media then? Please speak on that.
Okay. For the question you asked, what we're doing on social media is a driving force for them to understand the height and the gravity and the importance of the message you're passing through traditional media. So it's just like creating a narrative of the importance of that decision or the need for that policy to be created. So just like the person that taught us earlier, he said the primary target and primary audience and secondary audience. So it's just like it's best to use traditional media to communicate with our primary audience, then use social media to communicate with secondary audience. That's the best I can explain that.
I think I agree.
I think
with her
you captured
points.
it well. And I'll also add from my experience in journalism, I have worked in a multimedia, which is basically a traditional media outlet that was transitioning to becoming an online media. And it shocked me when I went there, because I just joined the digital team, and I was surprised to see that the print department was making more money than the online, was generating more income than the online. And I'm like, this is in 2023, 2024. As of last year, the print was generating more income. But then at the same time, I think that many of the print reporters get their stories from what's happening online. They go on Twitter, they see what's trending. That's where they get inspiration to report what they're reporting. So I think that social media is still very, very important, even though everything has its advantages and disadvantages. But we put it on social media, it still gets to print media. So one channels the other.
Okay, she wants to say something.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. To add to what they had said, I would not say that one supersedes another. I would say that the both are interconnected and helps each other. There are people who are youth and they are change makers, and they use social media every day, who do not still know about the SDGs. Do we agree? So I think that the both traditional means and the social media is just like an amplifier to me. It amplifies what the print media says, and youth of nowadays, I don't think we all read. Not too many youths read, so it's actually kind of.
We are reading Instablog.
Okay, so that's why we think that the traditional means is not really doing anything or conveying information about the SDGs, because social media, you just see one reel, SDG this one, blah blah blah, you do this one to get, it's easier that way to interpret with videos and with pictures. But I think the two are together. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. You wouldn't really blame us. Half of us in this room, we have careers that are built on watching YouTube videos, watching Instagram videos, subscribing to courses online, to build this. But thank you so much for sharing. You want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I agree with they both go together, but I think traditional means of passing information is very fun and funny. Just imagine being a bus and a driver listening to the radio where they are casting the news on what is happening, and you see them arguing, trying to share their thoughts on what they think should be done. So that moment, those persons that did not go online at that particular moment have already heard. So traditional way of sharing information still matters, because some persons don't have the time to hold their phone a day. I had to experience a phase of my life that throughout the day I didn't touch my phone. It was awkward to me, but I lived. But at one time before then, when MTN decided to show us Shege, they off network and I didn't know what happened that period, and I felt this emptiness that I was not among. And I cannot read newspaper, it's not my thing. So I was feeling something was missing, like I need to be online, I need to know what's going on. So just imagine that network now just decide to go off, like blank, and everybody, your phone is dead. What means will you fall back to? It's still going to be
traditional
means of communication. So I think that works too.
That's really interesting, and it just opened my eye to see that digital media in a country like Nigeria is still a luxury. Do you agree? It's still a luxury. Only a few people can still access it, and but nobody spoke to the fact that most people are feeling like traditional media is controlled and is mostly government owned, and whatever you are seeing is probably something that they've probably arranged for you to see. We can talk about that, but we can also talk about some of the challenges we face as initiatives that use media for development. Are there initiatives here that focus solely on social media platforms, digital platforms, to pass across their message and course development? What are the challenges that these initiatives face? Okay.
My name is Abubakar Sadiq Mustafa, and I run a platform called Bit of Evil, where we use photographs and text to tell stories of Nigerian universities, especially the ones from my alma mater, Ibrahim Badama Babangida University, Lapai, to deconstruct stereotype. That was why we started the project. And one of the things I faced recently is that an hacker tried to hack into our account.
Wow.
In fact, my personal Gmail was hacked a few days to Salah. My bank account was hacked into, and then he attempted to hack into Bit of Evil's account, but then he was not successful. I didn't mean he was successful. That means all our work for 2 years would have gone. So as people who use this digital medium to tell stories, these are some of the things we actually face. Hackers.
Interesting perspective. I think he just pushed an envelope with that input, because I'm thinking security. I'm also thinking capacity building for people who use media for development, just to prepare you for some of the challenges that we might face. Do you want to? You wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to add to what he already said, and I think from the previous question I asked, we've kind of addressed the challenges that we face, which is digital exclusion, because some people don't really have access to this data and then the devices and the network. But I think one of the main problem that we face is fatigue. There's a lot of digital content out there, and sometimes you agree with me that we get overwhelmed with all this content that we are consuming. So how did you make your work to stand out, that people can actually pick this thing and actually get the message that you're actually trying to pass? So I think that fatigue is like something that we don't really pay attention to, but it's like a vital problem that we actually encounter using media to actually advocate.
Interesting. Okay, you want to speak?
Yes, good evening. So he made mention of something that actually triggered my interest, so I thought to share. So in as much as we are in the digital space, we have a lot of our works out there. I say that the digital world is the future. AI, in as much as we try to shy away from it, is here to stay, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. So as media and as media practitioners, I would suggest and advise that we try to back up our works as much as we can. There is two-step verification. There are a lot of steps to protect yourself out there. So I know that there's also this aspect where you try to input passwords online, and then it advises you to save password. I won't advise that. It's not a good practice actually to save passwords online, because just like he mentioned, a hacker gets access of your password online. It's like one door access to multiple rooms, and that is not something that anybody would want to experience. So let's protect ourselves, read research, and then improve on your knowledge base should be wide. Thank you.
In terms of safeguarding.
Sorry, quickly, I wanted to add something. She said something, it caught my interest. She said something about so much information out there for us to consume, or content rather, in the media space, isn't it? Now, one thing, I work with an NGO rather, South Saharan Social Development Organization. They actually gave me this insight. My ED, Dr. Stanley, is very, very idealistic, and is always thinking of if there's traditional, like what we usually consume out there is entertainment. Somebody made mention about people exposing themselves and everything and stuff like that just to get people's attention. But aside that, I feel there's also the issue of storytelling, like an interesting intro to your content. Most of us shouldn't just focus on the I know when the thing about doing good is most of us just feel like I don't need to put so much effort to get anybody's attention. After all, whatever I'm doing is good. Oh, I just finished a project on GBV. Oh, I'm putting my content out there. I've done a documentary on a girl that was raped in the village and stuff like that. And you just feel like since I'm catching that story, or I'm trying to tell this story, it's enough. You understand? You just make a documentary of it and you put it out there and you're getting a low amount of views. It's not really because people don't see what you are doing. It's just because you have not made it captivating. One thing you should try and understand is if you want people to actually see and understand what you are doing, you should make it entertaining. The first 10 seconds, we're doing a research recently, communication officer, she just tried to find out ways we could actually engage our audience. We noticed that the first 10 seconds of your video is actually the most important aspect of it. If you notice, some thumbnails you go on, I don't know if you use Instagram, but who uses Instagram very well? Yeah. If you go to your reels, have you noticed sometimes you see a content, it looks like it's sexual, but when you click on it, it's actually what is playing. I don't know if anybody have experienced that before. Mm-hmm. It's like a thumbnail. They just place it there to get your attention. So try as much as possible to make sure whatever is in your first 10 seconds, it's captivating. Be idealistic, be thoughtful, make research, find out what people are engaged in. It doesn't necessarily have to be negative, but just find something that is attractive, engaging, and you find that you get to reach out more people. Sorry, I want to quickly mention the idea of what Very Dark Man is doing. He's done his narrative so much, and whenever he starts a video, who can tell me what he starts with?
All right.
Thank you very much. So that's exactly what I want us to adopt. God bless you.
All right.
Okay, so I actually, when my sis was speaking, so I actually wanted to share something that we are in the development space can do to prevent, our social media accounts from being hacked. So oftentimes, when you want to apply for a grant or whatever, you are going to be asked to create an account. When creating an account, you input your email address or whatever. Then when you want to create password, use a password from your social media. So those that are receiving those data from the back end, they are young people like you. There are people who are trying stuff. There are people who are doing different things. There are people that you cannot know what their intent is. So one thing that you can do is have a general password you use for most of this application. Nigeria 2025 @. So just ensure that most of your application has Nigeria, not your password, because people will try it. People will try your email and those passwords you used in your application. They will try it for your Facebook, Instagram, even to access your email. So most times that's what happened. So I just want to share.
Wow, that's so key. That's so key. Thank you so much for sharing that, Pamela.
So speaking about challenges, it seems like certain issues are more important than the other, which I do not agree. One of the most trending issues right now is climate change, environmental sustainability, and concerns about our planet. And it seems like other countries are more concerned about the planet than we are. We seem to be more concerned about poverty, hunger, and all these things. What role can the media play in promoting environmental sustainability and climate change awareness right now?
All right, I would like to speak about this. So I think the media is already playing a role. In fact, I remember far back, like 5 years ago, the topic of climate change was not something popular, right? But because of social media now, it's now a trending thing. Everybody wants to practice eco-friendly practices. Everybody wants to live sustainably and all of that. So I think a lot of youth-led organizations are employing social media, particularly as a tool to educate people about climate change and create more awareness amongst youth, because I believe that youth are the drivers for change when it comes to climate change. The older folks, like most of them are already benefiting from the things that are causing these issues, right? We understand what that means, but it takes the youth, young people, who are really passionate, who really have this energy. Another aspect is creative media. Like, we see a lot of content creators who put out short films, documentaries, finding creative ways to communicate this important topic. Because the reality is that in Nigeria, when you talk climate change, you say, don't do this, don't throw plastic here. We don't really understand why it's important,
exactly.
Right? You cannot go to a rural community or go to a village and tell a woman that, hey, don't cut down this tree, don't use it for firewood. They don't understand those things. So where creativity comes in is we go to those communities, we create like a documentary or a short film, and we try to understand the culture. Jamie was talking about culture, how he employs that understanding, right? And when you check our cultures and our tradition, you discover that our cultures are built on the practice of honoring nature, right? And honoring our natural resources. And so we employ all of those tools and put it together to create our media content. So we have to be more intentional about this messaging. And we also find subtle ways to communicate, not just say, plastic is this, blah, blah, blah. Just find a very creative way, like you talked about entertainment. Yeah. So always thinking about creative ways to convey this message. I'm saying this because by the grace of God, I'm a 3-time award winning filmmaker for a project I did called Choking. It was a project about exposing the devastating impact of plastic pollution. And one of the things I employed was using spoken word, dance, movement art, and also intense imagery to convey this message. So when you see the film, I don't need to tell you, don't do this. You just get the message that, okay, this thing is important. We need to do something about it. Okay. So media plays a very important role, and we have to double down on it when it comes to climate change and environmental issues.
Thank you. I absolutely agree. We have to make these issues very fun and relatable.
Okay, all right. So one thing I really like that input, Danny. Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay.
Are there people who are, focused, your work is focused on education and literacy in Nigeria? Are there people who are into education and literacy? Education, literacy. All right, but I'm curious. I want to know, what role can media play in helping your work, advancing your cause and helping your work move further? What role can media play, or how have you been using media to push your cause? Please share.
The truth is, when we are in more privileged societies, we just feel there are some things that Nigeria has passed, like having clean, drinkable water. Trust me, some communities still fight that battle till date. Like, it's still a problem. So as much as you feel most girls that see their periods now, I was so embarrassed to get to a class and get to find out that some teachers didn't even know that some of the girls in their class were already seeing their periods. It was that bad. And I feel like this should be something that should be taught, like from as early as J1, J2. Okay, girls already know that, okay, you're close to seeing this, something like this is going to happen, and you get that kind of a thing. So it was when we came into the class, that was when we discovered that this is what is happening now. So I had to create like a WhatsApp group chat where these girls, obviously it wasn't me handling it since I'm not a female, obviously, but I was the president of the group, so I just had to like create a platform where these girls could actually reach out to them, speak to fellow women that have experienced stuff like that. They could express themselves, because obviously I feel like we still have a lot to do in the education system. I think the other guy that spoke earlier, one of the facilitators that came earlier, he spoke about how the education system in Nigeria needs a whole reform, and I support that 100%. I'm not much on education, but I feel like we've come to the point in the country where our education system is failing us. Now, I feel like that's a whole broader topic I don't want to stress on, but yeah, basically, I feel like social media can also be used to educate our young ones on whatever they need to know. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Victor.
So I was quite, when you started your conversation or your feedback, I was actually thinking critically about your answer, because I know for a fact that if you are using social media to push for education and literacy in Nigeria, it means that does that mean that your target audience, because there's a possibility your target audience is not on social media? Because if you are pushing for education and literacy, the people who are educated and literate, or the people who are uneducated and illiterate, are they on social media? Do you understand my feedback? So meaning that I'm just thinking about strategy in terms of what do you actually use social media to do in your work in pushing education and literacy? Do you use social media to just maybe campaign for more support? Do you use social media to mobilize more stakeholders who are going to probably donate to your cause? Because I feel like if someone is uneducated or illiterate, would that person be online? Do you get? But there's a lot of lines there, the things we learn online, but I appreciate your feedback.
Moving beyond social media, there are new trends and innovations like AI, of course. I'm really curious to know how people in using media for development are incorporating AI into their work. Can you guys share how you're incorporating AI into your work, media for development?
About the fact that we have AI to do a portion of our work for us.
Yes.
Are we excited?
Yes.
Are we excited?
Definitely.
How has AI helped your work? You want to say something?
Okay, AI as a broadcast journalist, AI has taught me a lot of things. Initially, I was like, oh, I'm going to be jobless very soon. I'm not going to have, to use my own words anymore because AI is there. But trust me, AI has helped me. I would not lie. For this application, I used AI. I would not lie. I actually used AI for this application. and AI helps me in translation. AI helps me in taking minutes. I don't need to write. I don't need to write a lot of things. I don't need to record, rather I don't need to write minutes anymore. I just need to record it and put it in the translator, and AI helps me with that. Most times, for the fake news, we get to use DeepSeek. There are so many tools that you can use to confirm or fact check a news if it is real or not. There are even Google Lens. There are many other things that you can check if the picture is right, if it's real or not. So AI has helped me as a media personnel. AI has helped me in a very long way.
Interesting.
Okay. Husseina?
Thank you. So for me, AI has helped me because currently I'm learning how to create AI animation video, like a documentary. So instead of going to the field and start looking for people, interviewing people, so I'll use different AI software application to create a video. I've actually created one, and I'm looking to create more. Thank you.
So we've established the fact that AI makes things easier, as Babita said, and Husseina said it makes things cheaper. So instead of mobilizing resources and people, you can just use AI to do it because it's cheaper.
But I think there's like a limit to how you can use AI.
Exactly.
For instance, if you are telling climate stories, or you want to advocate for a particular community, it's important that we see humans, right? We see the community itself. It's organic. We need to see what's really happening. So as much as yes, AI is there, but like let's say have that balance to it, you know. And also, to be honest, there's some AI content I see. It doesn't have this authentic and very organic touch to it.
It feels robotic.
Yes. So I'm sure if I'm feeling that way, a lot of people too will feel that way too. So they have to be like a balance to it. I don't think AI can apply to every kind of content. That's why I feel like humans will still be here. AI will not take all of our jobs.
I agree, and that brings us to our very last question. You're just speaking about some of the
I
dilemmas
think she
and
wants to speak.
concerns.
She hasn't spoken.
Okay.
She wants to speak.
Mariam.
Okay, good evening. Thank
Good
you
evening.
very much. I just want to add to what they said, just like more of a contribution to using AI. I know that AI has helped us in a lot of ways, and it has made our work very easy. But I think what we should do is should consider the ethical use of AI in all these things. Especially, you mentioned transcription. I'm a journalist, and I know how that works. I don't know the particular transcription you're using. AI transcription you're using. I've used some, but then sometimes I just have to listen to it again, follow that in bit by bit, so that to make sure, because when you're cutting someone, especially when you're doing accountability reporting and investigative reporting, it's something that is very sensitive, so you have to make sure of what you're doing. So AI makes things easy for us, but as well, we should put it in our back of mind that we consider the ethical use of AI and make sure that the work that we are doing, is everything is accurate and everything is the truth. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you
So
so
in
much.
essence, there are ethical dilemmas and concerns about AI safety. Who takes responsibility when AI is the source of the information that happens to be false? It's the person who used the AI to generate that. So these ethical concerns and dilemmas, like earlier in today's session, I heard a word I've never heard before. Maybe you guys had heard it before. She's talked about trauma porn. And so I think those are some of the ethical dilemmas in how media tells stories of poverty, conflict, and inequality, taking advantage of people. There was something she said, if you would not like your own story to be told that way, then we shouldn't say it that way. So thank you all for participating. We've come to the end of our discussion.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. The rise of media and technology in Nigeria has activated the Gen Z voices and also have brought about new leaders in the development space. We know our chess champion in Lagos, yes, and we know some of the work that some of our people do right now because and its amplification. And we hope this conversation to everyone and it's beneficial to anybody watching. Thank you so much. James Okewo, and I have
Ephraim. Join us next time.
Bye guys.